If I was Linus from LTT, that'd be one of those videos that I'd let the audience know that I'm happy to take sponsor money for, because that's already how I feel about the products. Because, you know, when you hold a controller, it's got a lot going for it. You like it, but it's missing that much to be perfect. Well, you won't run into this compromise with this one. For you, just not for me. And I hear you, you're like, but Clef, this sounds both positive and negative at the same time. Which one is it? Well, I'll answer that question by the end of this video. Hi, I'm Clef and you're watching Game Tech Talk. First off, EasySMX did send out both products showcased in this review. All opinions are my own, no requests nor key points were to be provided, requested, and or approved. They get to see and hear my opinions at the same time as everybody else. We'll be talking about two products, the X10 Mechanic Master as well as a follow-up to a product I reviewed in 2023 that I was quite happy with, the Bayard 9124 successor, the Bayard 9124 Pro. Starting with the X10 Mechanical Master, and I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge that they seem to come into their own, as this product unboxing speaks volume about that very fact. It is simple, elegant, and all black and white textured goodness. And the one thing I love that I did not even expect when I accepted to review this product is that the box reveals a pretty nice surprise. You didn't think I was gonna spoil it at the beginning, right? I mean, come on. As is customary, the full array of buttons you'd expect are here for the rendezvous, and the EasySMX logo is in fact the home button, much like the one found on Xbox and PlayStation controllers. Both analogs and triggers are Hall sensors, which are not impervious to their own sets of challenges. Still, they offer superior reliability against stick drift over time, offer higher precision and pinpoint accuracy, as long as the manufacturer makes sure to calibrate them from factory, and as far as I can tell, they did as fine a job as I'd expect from top contenders in the space. One of the first key features of this product sits in its very name, the X10 Mechanical Master. So in case you may not be familiar with this, most controllers will use what is called membrane type switches, at least for face buttons and more often than not for the D-pad as well. Membrane buttons have a bit of a mushy side. While not the most reactive or precise buttons of all time, they still offer more than enough reliability while retaining a rather familiar and pleasant feel. Function buttons are usually more commonly used with mechanical, also known as tactile switches, not to be confused with mechanic switches from keyboard. They look different, but in concept, they are the same, as in they have a mechanical aspect to actuate the button. Well, as we said, it is in the name, and you guessed it, every button on this controller except the triggers are on mechanical type switches. Now, the part where we divide the room and people will choose which party they represent. Pro players tend to prefer mechanicals. They are highly responsive, very rapid to actuate, and leave little to no room in terms of guesswork to if the button has been pressed or not. The best way for me to showcase this is with my superb button mashing athletic performance. All right, maybe that won't sell it after all, but I assure you, it's far easier to do on the tactile button than on membrane, like not even comparable. But I do commend them on a specific aspect of these buttons. What if I told you that mechanical with a nice sensation is still very much achievable, and that EasySMX found what I consider to be the best feeling mechanical switch to date on a controller? I know I just said not to think of keyboard switches, but I have a good comparison. If mechanical buttons like what you find on the Backbone one are like blue cherry blue switches, right? Highly tactile, and that membrane are more like cherry red. Not in conception, but in feel. Well, the buttons in the X10 feel more like brown switches. They have the travel of a membrane, but the satisfying click at the end of a mechanical switch, just like brown ones on a keyboard. I realize not everyone will have reference, but believe me when I say, as someone in the brown camp, they are the best switches by far. Let's not vote about this, just take my word for it. All kidding aside though, I am still trying to wrap my head around it, hence why I said what I said at the beginning, but It is something I did not expect would feel this good, but also something I don't know that I'm ready to experience. Does that make sense? All right, I went off on those switches and I apologize, but it's really a feature I hadn't seen before today. Next is, sneakily hidden beneath the controller is turbo and vibration, which we'll both address in a minute. Talking about sneakily hidden beneath in the box is our surprise, swappable shells. But before we talk about this, a third thing sneakily hidden at the bottom of this video is an animated reminder designed to subconsciously let you know that subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video are things that makes me very happy. And as a happy person, because many of you have hit those buttons lately, I say thank you to each and every one of you for those actions. Okay, before the shells, the two buttons are turbo and vibration. Turbo is exactly what it's called and very easy to operate and offers both semi and fully automatic modes. The vibration button lets you jump from 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100% motor vibration. And in the back are two back paddles. Those can be configured to either operate a key or a combination of keys. One thing very particular with EasySMX that I don't recall seeing elsewhere is their paddles not only record button or button combinations, but also sticks combinations. That's something I highlighted in my original Bayard review, and glad that this feature still exists here. I know it seems like a feature you'd never use until you find yourself having to do a repetitive task like placing blocks in a row in Minecraft. It's for these little things that sticks capture really shine. Since we're already on gamepad tester, it's as good a time as any to show you the stick's reliability. I should point out that the circularity test is extremely precise. It just goes off boundaries, as it should, because some games do read axis value beyond the circle. Some brands calibrate it to make it a perfect circle because it looks nice, but really, it's not the end of the world, but ideally you shouldn't have exactly that circle. And then the shells. I just love that feature. Not only do you have the potential to match your aesthetics, you can also have a fresh set of grips in case one is worn out more than the other, which another great feature I greatly enjoy, and one I don't understand why more companies do it, is the fact that the bottom front of the ergo grip is textured, giving me a better hold overall on the controller. And it's those little details that to me makes EasySMX stand out in a heavily populated market. Next is the 2.4 gigahertz stick, meaning that should you prefer not to use Bluetooth or wired, they also provide a dongle that you can use for wireless connections. Very important to address, the dongle only works for PC connectivity. If you plug it into your Switch dock, for example, though I don't know why you would do that, it will not work. Behind the gamepad is a little switch that you can move to one of four modes. Nintendo Switch, which will spoof a Pro controller, a Bluetooth mode, which will spoof an Xbox 360 one, the wired mode with the same spoofing, and then last, the dongle mode. Just for the record, it is very likely that multiple modes work on devices that they're not necessarily built for. For example, the Bluetooth mode still works on the Switch, but if you were to use that mode, gyro will not. So you ideally want to stick to the right mode for the device that you're using it with. As I'm sure some of you will ask, no, this controller does not have amiibo support. The rumble, while amazing and very silent, and amongst the best I've seen in third-party market, it still does not have Nintendo's proprietary HD rumble. On their website, they list a phone holder which can be bought separate, and indeed it works on both these products, and it's the exact same holder. The last thing to address before moving to the other product is just the overall comfort. Is it comfortable? Oh, it sure is, but I still prefer the next product that we'll talk about, if I'm being honest. Hence why I said at the beginning that it might be the best for you, just not for me. How can I put this? This controller is effectively an Xbox Series controller, but better, except for the D-pad. For PC gaming, EasySMX once again put out a controller that I am absolutely floored by. It's exactly like Microsoft's One in shape. It's lighter, it feels tight everywhere, offers multi-platform capabilities, has gyro, which can work on PC by the way, on the Switch mode. It supports macros, on-the-fly tweaking for vibration, has Hall sensor. The tactile switches is a personal preference. As I said, I'm just not there yet, but I gotta say, the more I use it, the more I'm confused, so who knows? I'll feel in a month from now. But the Bayard 9124 Pro, that product is one that there is so little for me to say, as I feel I did all on the original review, which I'll put for you to bookmark. I strongly recommend watching it after this one. But it did improve on one feature that it could still benefit from, which is Hall sensor sticks and triggers. So we won't spend as much time talking about this one as we have because, well, first, it shares many of the features, but it has more as well. And two, I already covered 95% of what makes this controller great, but I will still give you the positives in rapid fire. It has 4 paddles instead of 2. It has an extra recording feature and multiple buttons at once that the other doesn't. It has a screenshot button that the other doesn't. It has backlit buttons that, in my opinion, does a better job at conveying both consoles simultaneously. We'll get back to that in a minute. It has an objectively superior D-pad, one of the best I've seen on third parties. In fact, both the face buttons and D-pads are on membrane, which again is a superior choice for me. But the most glaringly positive aspect of the Bayard 9124 Pro are 2 things. Number one is the stick is flat rather than being concave or convex, something I have never seen outside of this controller and I wish was more common. 2, most controllers look quite similar, but the EasySMX Bayard 9124 Pro has a shape that is slightly different than the series controller shape. It's wider at the top, the triggers are wider as well, and again, those alterations differentiate this product quite positively compared to just about anything else on the market. I wasn't lying when I said in the original video that it is now my go-to PC controller. Of course, the Pro has replaced the non-Pro one, that goes without saying. But yeah, I got used to those subtle changes and I just don't want to go back anymore. I also like the gripping texture of the ergonomic grip a bit more on the 9124 Pro than I do on the X10, but that's hardly an advantage. It's just a little bit better. And also, that's not to say that X10 doesn't have benefits. It does. The swappable shells for starters. It has the switch in the back, which I much prefer to holding buttons to boot in different modes. The X10 also has the PC standard layout, like the ABXY, whereas the 9124 Pro has a Nintendo layout. But as I mentioned, we get back to this, they have the pattern of Nintendo, you know, BAXYX placement, but they have the color pattern of Xbox, so green at the bottom, red to the right, etc., etc. Look, I know that you're gonna ask me, but as much as I think both controllers are amazing, which one should you get? Well, if you are serious about your gaming and you want something that can give you a slight edge in your gaming sessions, the X10 Mechanic Master is arguably the better controller. It's obvious that it is designed for precision and you can tell when holding one. But on the other hand, if comfort, convenience, and features is your priority, I think the Bayard 9124 Pro is one of the best controllers to ever grace the market. And it's a shame that a small YouTuber like me would be one of the very few talking about them. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud to be, but I know I don't have some of the reach that bigger YouTubers have, so hey, hit that subscribe button to help me get that reach over time because I'm on the mission to tell the world about this brand. All kidding aside, they really do great controllers and they have stupid cheap prices for them. The X10 Mechanical Master goes for $50, dongle included. The Bayard 9124 Pro goes for $43 with the dongle also included. And though we didn't feature that product in this video, if you don't care for Hall sensor sticks and triggers, the Bayard 9124 Non-Pro does have regular ALPS sticks and linear triggers. And that version goes for $33 without dongle, $35 with, or $40 with the dongle and phone holder. If you want the phone holder separately, I think it's $12 if I remember correctly. And if you feel like really indulging, my final recommendation would be to grab a regular 9124 with the dongle and phone stand and an X10 Mechanical Master. And when you do, come back in the comments of this video to tell me, dang Clef, you really weren't kidding. Those are amazing. They really are.